Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. One of the videos that we made, which has gone viral and has been the best and the worst video that we ever made, due to Beth's, in part due to Beth's title, which was the brutal wife of the foreigner, and how she was making me eat food, which everybody said, oh, that's disgusting, including me. And you might remember that video that I mentioned, my description of a snail is it looks like something that you just picked out of your nose. That's sorry, it just seems that way. Now, in my time as a person who eats food, I've tried all of those. I've tried squid. I think I've even tried octopus. I think I've tried snails. I've been to France, and that's a common delicacy is snails, which they have another name for it. But I've tried those foods, and I don't need to try them again. But let's look at some of the comments without going through them. We'll look at some of the comments. Don't make your husband eat those things if he doesn't. Don't force your husband to eat those things if he doesn't want them. And the one thing, and we have extremely well put together comments from people who are obviously intelligent, articulate, and good at writing, and they put their viewpoint, but it seems that the viewpoint is based on the idea that all I ever get at any meal, like breakfast, so honey, what's for breakfast? Snails. Darling, what are we having for lunch? Snails. And later, so what's for dinner? Snails. This is not the way that it is. Let me explain. When we're thinking about videos and what we're going to do, Beth will come up with an idea, or I will come up with an idea, and we'll say, why don't we do a video about this or that? And one time she came up with the idea because she had seen that I don't actually like snails. Now, we went out this particular time, and we went out with the kids. We took a group of our little group of kids, which is seven or 8 or 9 children, and we went out on a walk, and we went out over to the fish ponds. Now, you can go to the fish ponds and you can walk in among all of that property and nobody cares. But they do care if you start fishing, all right, and taking their fish harvest. So the understanding is, and it's an honours agreement, you go there and you don't fish. Well, we didn't fish. But what we did was we picked up, well I didn't anyway, because I can't stand walking in that mud. I'm a typical wimpy foreigner. So the girls and the guys are all in there, and they pick up these they look about this big, and I would call them like winkles. When I was in the UK and a child, we would have shellfish, but they were a different kind of thing. So anyway, they went out and they cooked them on the spot. They brought matches with them, and they get some firewood, and there on the narrow sort of levee between all of these different fish ponds, they built a little fire, and then created some charcoal, and then they had their snails. Did I have any? No. I remember talking to another expat when we went to see the harvesting of a fish pond, quite a large fish pond, and we went to see it. We were invited there by our friends, the New Zealanders, Bonnie and Michael, and they said, come along and watch how they harvest it. So we went along, and while we were standing there, there was another expat there. I think it was, not quite sure, I think it was George. And we're watching right at the sluice gate where they've got the nets set up. So in other words, it starts off very big like this, and then it comes down to one tiny place where the fish must go through, and then they get fished and sent up in a bucket and put into a tank so that they can be harvested. So we're watching this, and then we watch one man, and he picks up one of these snails, and he does no more than break it open and take it out. This is straight out of the water, pops it in his mouth and eats it, and obviously finds that it's delicious. Well, my companion, as we're staying there, he said, you see the guy could take that, in Filipino, cast iron constitution, can take that evil looking piece of snot, pop it in his mouth and enjoy it and not be sick. Whereas my friend said that he ate something that was straight from the river and was very, very sick. See, so the constitution of a Westerner, a foreigner, compared to a Filipino who has lived here all his life and fished and done it like the kids that we took with us, they ate all of those shellfish and did not suffer any of the effects, neither did Beth. But I bet if I had done it, it wouldn't have worked for me, and I know better. So back to the viral brutal wife. What do you, for those people who made that comment, think about it. What do you think that I eat? Well, I have lots of suggestions. Why don't you cook him nutritious food? Look at me. I am well fed. I am well fed with food that I enjoy. Sometimes it's just like anybody, just like any family, anywhere in the world, there are times when you may be eating leftovers from the day before or the meal before. There are times when I will sit down and have baked beans and perhaps some spam and rice. And yes, in answer to that one question that I got the other day, do I ever get fed up of rice? Yes, sometimes I do. And I'll eat noodle, or I just won't eat very much rice. But I've lived with rice as a basic to my diet practically all my adult life. Now, what am I used to? Well, I remember that the most healthy time of my life was in Florida, when I was living alone, and I bought a juicer, and I've been reading up on it, and I decided that I would not go full vegetarian, but that I've never been a great red meat eater anyway. So all of those people who said, come and visit me and I'll cook you a nice big steak, not really for me. American food for me is probably McDonald's, the worst health risk that you can have. We talked about McDonald's before, and nobody's fooled by the idea that you've got nutrition details on some of the literature. So I would, in the UK, there's a greater, as far as I can see, in some ways there's a greater selection of food than even in America. You have Italian restaurants, you have Chinese restaurants, you have Indian restaurants. You don't seem to see Indian restaurants as much in America. There was one Indian restaurant in Fort Myers that I used to go to every so often to have a good curry. There are Thai restaurants in Fort Myers where you can go and have a good Thai curry as well, which I really like. So I like curry. Well, when we are out on the road, which is most days we go out, so I will have whatever breakfast I have, be it be it pancit noodles or egg and rice, of course, and rice, or baked beans. I like baked beans, and I've learned the Filipino way of eating food cold. So a lot of the time, when a Westerner tries to get used to the food that they have here, it will be in eating the food cold, where we would never dream of doing that in the West. From my experience, you would expect the food to be hot, especially, well, French fries. Who on earth would want to eat cold French fries? Not me. So it's really important to me if I go on a real connoisseur's meal and go to McDonald's, and I'll go there. If the French fries are cold, I take them back and I say, I want some fresh French fries, and they do that, and then they're so hot that they burn your mouth. Well, when I go out every day, so we need to eat, and we'll go and we'll have there are no fancy restaurants in Taliban, which is where we're living right now, and there are no fancy restaurants. You can go to Chelan, which is a very nice restaurant in a very nice location. It's right on the water, and the ambience is well worth it. The training of the staff is not well on, so service is not really up to much. And you may wait 10 minutes for the dish of your dreams, and they'll come out after 10 minutes or 15 minutes of waiting and tell you that they don't have it. Excuse me. So I'll go to Vidasto. Vidasto we can always get served, and they have a tremendous menu. You can go, you can have curry, you can have curry chicken, you can have any kind of different pork, spicy pork ribs. Beth always has sinigang. She has either pork sinigang or the shellfish sinigang, and we always have the meal that we want, and nobody rushes out at the last minute and forces me to have those shellfish. It doesn't happen. That was a one-time thing, and now because it's a video and people are looking at it constantly, I am constantly fielding these comments where it seems like I'm being held down and having those shellfish forced down my throat. It doesn't happen. I don't eat things that I don't want. I don't eat what I don't like. One of my favorite meals is not even, it's about $1.50 in dollars. It costs about $1.50. It's on Sunday when I go in and I've dropped everybody off at church, and I scoot off down to Taliban on my own, and I go to Alturas and I go to the cafeteria there, and for about 80 pesos, bearing in mind 52 or 53 pesos to the dollar, so not even $2, and I have sweet corn soup. I have crab and sweet corn soup, which I love, and I also have a special hot salad, which is just beautiful, and that and a lemonade, and I'm a simple guy. Lots of people say, my God, you're simple, and I really enjoy that, and that's my breakfast. I love having sweet and sour fish fillets in Vedasto. I enjoy that. I actually buy my whole wheat bread I can get now finally in Vedasto, and whenever I go in there, I usually buy a couple of loaves, and I have a toaster now, so I have toast, and I might have corned beef on there. I might have like marmalade, definitely. And also someone, we had a special syrup that you normally have on pancakes, and I have that on toast, especially if I've got butter, and I toast the butter, I butter the toast I should say, and I enjoy that very much. And I have my coffee. We have a hot and cold water fountain now, which we have. I don't drink the water from the well, and I'm feeling much better on that as well. So I have all kinds of different food, and I enjoy my food, and I eat what I want, and I eat healthily. Not quite as healthy as when, as I said, I had a juicer, and we are talking that I am going to fix the kitchen, so that we've got a kitchen and fit running water to the kitchen and a sink, and then I'll start cooking, and I'll start using the juicer. Now, for anybody who's out there, I hear people talking about the struggle that they have in losing weight, and I've told so many people, but they don't listen. If you use a juicer, the weight will drop off you. I don't care how big you are. The weight will drop off you if you use a juicer. Now, you've seen me, I'm a bit of a string bean to start with, but I was also working out and having a lot of protein and eating very well. So because I was working out, I didn't have a car. I rode my bike everywhere, and I mean everywhere. I went to the gym several times a week, and I did weights, and I was in very, very good shape. But I used the juicer, and what I did was I juiced all day. In the morning I'd have juice, I'd have oats with the juice and make up a protein drink, and for lunch as well I would have let me see, in the evening I would actually have a cooked meal, but even that would be very lightly cooked, and all I would have in terms of meat would be what you can buy in America is a very small can of chicken. So I'd have the chicken or tuna, and I'd put that into the frying pan with only olive oil, virgin olive oil, and a little at that, and all of the vegetables that I'd been juicing during the day went in, but just cut and chopped, and then with just that small can of meat, well, chicken and as I said, chicken and tuna, and that would give me a taste of meat, and I'd actually eat a solid meal. And that's how I lived, and I dropped about 17 pounds. I didn't need to. I could have carried another 17 pounds around the waist like most older guys do. I was very, very healthy. If you're looking to, while we're on the subject, if you're looking to lose weight, just buy a juicer and use it. Use it, and if you want to eat dinner, you can have a cooked meal in the evening before 8, by the way. Don't eat after 8. And the rest of the day, you can have as much juice as you want. You can pig out on juice, and you'll still lose weight. So, for those people who are concerned that I'm not getting nutritious food, and Beth is not cooking this and not cooking that, and why isn't she making steaks and salads and all of this, thanks, but I'm doing great. Food I don't have a problem with. Okay, so if you're losing weight, get on a juicer, and so much healthier. I was so healthy. Keep promising myself that I'll get back to the juicer, and then I will be eating actually probably maybe half of the rice that I'm eating now. So thanks for watching. This is a foreigner in the Philippines on the subject of food. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and buy a juicer. And by the way, I don't have shares in that company, okay?